Next up, we have Crystal Palace versus Nottingham Forest. I'm going to go for a Crystal Palace win here.
Yeah.
Although Knots have been pretty good. I just think that it'll be a low-scoring game, a 1-0 Palace win.
Okay. I've gone for 2-1 Palace. I think, good win against United over the weekend. Shown that they can score goals. I think better team on paper than Forest as well. And they're hosting them. So I think everything points towards a Crystal Palace win. So yeah, I've got 2-1.
I agree. I'm going to go 2-0 because I think Forest, the majority of the points they get from home, and away they really struggle. And Palace, they've been a serious threat this season. I mean, they're scoring a lot of goals. Their attacking players they've got a lot of flair. So I'm going to go for 2-0. It's Palace.
Thank you for that. West Ham versus Newcastle United.
I think this is a tough one.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, should I get us kicked off?
Yep.
I just think that it's going to be a high-scoring game and that Newcastle are going to win. I just think that as a team grows in confidence, and Newcastle seem to be doing that it's infectious. West Ham not a good side at home, but I like a 3-2 Newcastle win. Lots of goals, lots of fun.
Yeah, I haven't
a lot of gay running out there.
I haven't gone on as high scoring, but I also like Newcastle. Like we said right now in the previous prediction, they're kind of hitting their straps.
Well, you keep saying that about everybody.
What? Hitting their straps.
So somebody keeps saying it. Or maybe you both this is a millennial Z thing.
I really feel like
strap-ons.
I'm hitting my straps. 41 and.
Okay. Come on. What do you?
I like Newcastle to win 2-1.
Yeah, I think West Ham. They've been a surprise this season, but I think the biggest difference between the two teams is that West Ham are conceding a lot more goals. I think Newcastle's defense is really solid, and they're controlling games a lot more now. They're not just. I don't know. They were conceding sloppy goals early on in the season, but now they've seemed to really settled down. They're starting to, like I said, they're starting to control games more. But also West Ham, they're a threat on the counter, but they're so vulnerable. And I could see Newcastle, they beat PSG 4-1 on Wednesday. There's no way they take that win to West Ham and they feel less confident.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go for a 3-1 Newcastle.
All right, next is City Arsenal.
Nope.
Wolves Villa. Interesting game because Villa off the back of
Brighton demolition,
absolutely destroying Brighton out of nowhere. Wolves off the back of a incredibly unexpected smash and grab against City. So
but City never really looked as dominant they have. I mean, they had a lot of possession and stuff like that.
But they always have a lot of possession.
Yeah.
But do either of these teams come off the back of results that neither of them probably expected? To kind of try and make it 2 in a row here. The Wolves obviously have home ground advantage. How much do you read into that 6-1? Because Villa haven't been, great this season until that.
They've had good results, but they've been relatively inconsistent.
Yeah. I think the manager's good, and they've got a good squad. And they're due. If I look at their start, they've had some decent results, but Wolves have had the room for me to regress. I really think that Aston Villa set up to beat a Wolves team, and it was more Man City playing down to the opponent than Wolves playing up to Man City. So I'm gonna pick Aston Villa in this one, 3-1.
Yeah, I think also, I wouldn't get too carried away with the Wolves win against City because it was an own goal.
Yeah.
They had one shot on target the whole game and they won 2-1.
Yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily, it was a complete smash and grab. I think City were more, like we said, they've been missing Rodri. Rodri plays that game, they comfortably win. So, Wolves, like you said, it's easy. They get hyped. They play the big teams and they're difficult. But I could easily see them switching off against Villa this weekend and Villa come away and absolutely batter them. But also Villa have been bad away from home, so it's difficult to. I'm not gonna say an outright win for Villa. I'm gonna say they're gonna win 2-1. Yeah.
Oliver.
I would like to retract my statement about Villa because their results have been quite good. That was a poor mistake on my part. But I have a gut feeling nonetheless, and I think we will see a draw this weekend. I've gone 1-1.
Could be guess. But 1-1. Then, of course,
game of the weekend in
the
a
piece de
weekend
resistance. Arsenal 2-1 at home against Man City, who aren't exactly setting the world alight.
Again, I mean, I think that's tough has probably been the most dominant word this episode. But
This is the toughest week I've seen in the Premier League.
Arsenal, Bukayo Saka back. I think Declan Rice back for them as well.
I think Saka just got injured though.
Did he?
And against Lens
yeah.
on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay.
It's Lens.
Lens.
Not Lens.
Lens.
Come on, money.
I just don't know if I feel like that Wolves game has really played into I don't know, the hands of bettors, I suppose, because they're pretty much evenly stacked odds now, and I just think despite Arsenal's recent progression in the last 2 years, when the teams have met in the Premier League, City have still sort of proved their quality, and I don't think this weekend's going to be any different. I think it'll be a really good game, but I still see City winning. But you can get pretty good money on City to beat Arsenal away from home. So I've gone with a 2-1 City win. I don't think they take two losses in a row in the Premier League. If they did, that would then be 3 losses in a row given the Champions League results. So,
well, they won.
I mean, the Carabao Cup results. So,
against English clubs. You mean?
Yeah.
So I've got 2-1 City. I'm not sure what your guys' thoughts are.
I think it's an interesting one because Saka being injured for Arsenal is probably the biggest loss they could have besides Saliba. I mean, he plays I think he's played like over 80 consecutive games for them or something like that, and he really is their attacking catalyst. Like, he is, when they're in trouble, they give the ball to him. He draws 2 or 3 players. He comes inside. He scores very important goals. And if he's out, I think Trossard isn't a bad player, but they lose so much.
Look, I have read that he should recover in time.
That he should recover in time.
That's what...
but maybe he won't play the full game or something
but there's a chance also potentially playing with a bit of a niggle.
And then,
Not the dreaded niggle. There's nothing, you can't take anything from that.
But I think the thing about City, like we've mentioned a lot of times, Rodri being absent, the one game they probably would have wanted in the season is at the Emirates. Because even though historically City they've beaten Arsenal almost every single time they've played them, in these big games, he's the kind of player that makes 5 yellow card tackles and gets 1. He stops 4 goals, he stops 3 counter attacks. These are the games where players like that, they, you keep a clean sheet, but they could also score. He scores important goals as well. It's just...
What's your result?
I'm going to go for... It's so difficult because if Haaland... Thing is, like we've also said in previous weeks, that Haaland needs 1 or 2 chances to score.
You should be a politician.
I'm going to go for a 2-2 Arsenal City draw.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to eeny, meeny, miny, mow the shit out of this one. I guess, I'm going to go with a 2-1 City win.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
What was yours?
2-1 City.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, look, it's a tough week, and so remember, from a betting perspective, don't go chasing rainbows. Every time you don't place a bet, you win as much money as you would place a bet. If you understand that, you'll understand that principle. So next up, we have Brighton and Hove Albion versus Liverpool. A tough game for Liverpool after the loss to Tottenham. And when you look at this week's betting, you got 60%, 65% on Fulham to beat Sheffield. You've got 95. You've got 95 cents on the dollar return for Everton. 66 for Man United. 74 for Chelsea. There's almost even money betting on some team this week, and the Liverpool-Brighton game is no different.
Yeah.
Liverpool are 12-10, and Brighton 2-1. And this is another eeny, meeny, miny, mo game for me. How would you want to call it? I'd I'd have to say that Liverpool bounced back.
Yeah.
And for me, just edge it 2-1.
Look, I think it's going to be, I also think Liverpool bounce back, but I think it's going to be a high-scoring game because both teams are coming out with a bit of a vengeance for different reasons. You know, Brighton getting thumped by Aston Villa, Liverpool feeling like Liverpool robbed, against Spurs this past weekend. But I think Liverpool are always, it's a given that they're going to potentially concede and for that to be the first goal of the game, and then the game then opens up from there. Hell of a lot of strike power. So I think a little bit of a back and forth. But Liverpool also aware that, especially with City's loss last week, that those top 4 spots are looking pretty even at the moment still.
1 through 6, eh? There's,
yeah.
Like we said, 3 points separating them. Brighton, I think, are in 6th spot. So
this is a great win for Liverpool then to get in terms of just affirming their place up there and potentially
and
kind of like pushing Brighton.
Top.
Exactly. So I really like Liverpool this weekend. I think I've got a good feeling about it. A lot of confidence that they go and win 3-2.
And it could be a very important game with Arsenal hosting Man City.
Yeah.
And possibly good odds on them dropping.
Luton making a statement.
Well.
It would be justice.
Took 5 shows to get a joke out of this guy.
Now you've had like 3.
No. Yeah. I think that Liverpool are the better side, and Brighton for me do some regression, but they've been a consistent team this year. No, we could have done that.
2-1, you said.
Yeah.
Dol?
I think this is going to be a really difficult one because, like you said, both teams are coming out the blocks for different reasons, and I think Liverpool might have a problem now. I don't know what team they're going to pick because Gakpo's injured, Jota and Curtis Jones are both suspended. So do they take a risk and give Gravenberch his first start? Do they play Endo, who they haven't really played with this season and doesn't really suit how they want to play? That's my biggest concern from Liverpool's perspective because Brighton control games, and if you play, I don't know, I really love Darwin Nunez. I think he could be really good, but it's the midfield's the problem for me because they've become so comfortable with Jones, McAllister and Szoboszlai.
Yeah.
Now you throw in 2 players that haven't really got many minutes, aren't really the same kind of players. But Liverpool will be fired up, and I've got to back Liverpool. I'm going to go 3-2 Liverpool. But nice. Brighton, really, it could easily be the other way around.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Thanks, man.